Hi everyone, I'll take you through the lesson Issue and Transfer Material.
After completing this lesson, we should be able to identify the different inventory transaction types, explain the difference between document-based and non-document-based inventory transactions. We should be able to create miscellaneous inventory transactions. We should be able to create sub-inventory transfers, create and process movement requests, and perform direct and in-transit inter-organization transfers. So the first topic is on overview of inventory transactions. So as part of this section, we would be discussing the various types of inventory transactions and the differences between the document and non-document based inventory transactions. So what is an inventory transaction? We have discussed this in one of the previous lessons as well. So a transaction is an item movement into, within, or out of inventory. So what does it change? Any transaction changes the quantity, location, the planning responsibility, and the cost of an item. Oracle Fusion Inventory Management supports several predefined and user-defined transaction types, which we already have discussed in one of the previous session, and every material movement has a corresponding set of accounting transactions that Oracle Fusion Cost Management automatically generates. So we would not be covering the costing related topic in this particular lesson, but it is covered as part of Oracle Fusion Cost Management module. All transactions validate the various controls, that is the revision, the locator, the lot number, the serial number, and secondary unit of measure that we enable for the items. And this particular diagram, what you could see, it shows there are two types of flows. One is the material flow and one is the business flow. So the material flow, as you could see, it's basically receiving the goods, movement of the goods, shipping the goods, and as part of the business flows, you could see whether it is you're moving the metal or issuing the metal based on a particular sales order. The various, this particular diagram, we have already seen it before in one of the previous lesson. It depicts how we can perform the various inventory transactions. So as you could see, the first one is receiving the material into the sub-inventory bulk. That is, using a miscellaneous receipt. It could be because of an inventory adjustment, or you are issuing a material from a sub-inventory bulk because of an inventory adjustment. You want to transfer the material from say sub-inventory FGI to sub-inventory stores. So we could do a sub-inventory transfer transaction. Or else, if we want to move the material from an organization M1 to organization M2, we could use the inter-org transfer, that is inter-organization transfer. So we will talk about the transfer order and what we mean by direct and in-transit there across in that particular box. We will discuss about that clearly even during the demonstration. So here on this particular slide, we are going to talk about the inventory transaction without documents and with documents. So in case if you do not need any legal document for carrying out any transaction, you could use any of the inventory transactions for which we don't need documents, such as miscellaneous issue, miscellaneous receipt, sub-inventory transfer, inter-organization transfer, and inter-organization receipt. But in case if you need any documentation, then you need to use these inventory transaction types which support documentation, that is the purchase order receipt, the transfer order shipments and receipts, movement request issue, and movement request sub-inventory transfer. We will go through each one of them in the next couple of slides. We will be discussing about them in detail. So we can also set the options and restrictions before we perform any inventory transactions like locator control, lot control, serial number control, which we already have discussed in one of the previous lessons. So the next topic is on miscellaneous transactions. So in this particular diagram, we have depicted how miscellaneous transactions enable you to issue material to individuals or projects or projects that are not in inventory, receiving or manufacturing. And say suppose you want to issue a material to a research and development group or an accounting department, and we could use this miscellaneous issue. So we can also make manual adjustments to the general ledger by receiving the material from one account to inventory and then issuing that material from inventory to another account using this miscellaneous transaction. So let us, as part of the demonstration on how to create miscellaneous inventory transactions. So let us go to the instance and see it ourselves. Let me quickly take you to the home page so that we are comfortable with the navigation. So on the home page on the springboard, click on inventory management, and on the task panel, let us go ahead and check the task manage item quantities. So let me query here. Currently we are on the organization 001, as you could see here, and let me query for the item AS65001. And you could see the organization here is 001 and click on search. So you could see in the sub-inventory stores, there are on-hand quantities 18, and in the sub-inventory inspection, there is an on-hand quantity of 1. So now let us also check view item availability. Out of these 18, how many are available to transact or available to reserve? It is 12. Let us click on OK here and click on done. So let us remember this quantities and click on done. So instead of closing this particular screen, let me open another page, and so that we will be remembering the item quantities. So let us go to inventory management, click on the task panel and click on create. Remember that you are on the drop down, you have selected inventory, and click on create miscellaneous transaction. Now under the transaction type here, let us select miscellaneous issue, and you are issuing to an account alias, and select the account to which you are issuing the material from the inventory. To which account? So we are issuing it to 24220. Click on OK. And here under the transaction lines, click on add and add the item for which you want to create this miscellaneous issue, AS65001. And in the sub-inventory, let us select stores and select the quantities. Say, let me select the quantity of 2 and click on submit. So now I've got the confirmation your transactions processed with no issues. Click on OK. So now the available quantity should go down by 2, and the quantity available to transact or reserve should be 10 now. Earlier it was 19, and the on-hand quantity is 19. It should come down to 17 now. So let us search once again. So as soon as I click on search, you could see the quantity, on-hand quantity has come down from 19 to 17. And if I click on the sub-inventory stores and click on view item availability, the quantity will come down for available to reserve or transact would be coming down from 12 to 10. So we have done a miscellaneous issue. So now that you have seen how to create a miscellaneous issue, let us go back to the presentation and go to the next topic, sub-inventory transfer. So this table presents a summary of transactions used to transfer materials. So the sub-inventory transfer transactions are used to transfer material within an organization between two sub-inventories or between two locators within the same sub-inventory. So let us, this is a cheat sheet which is available on transferring materials. So you could just have a look at this. So this particular diagram depicts how sub-inventory transfer transactions are used to transfer material between two sub-inventories within an organization or between two locators within the same sub-inventory. So some of the uses of sub-inventory transfer would be replenishing of from bulk storage sub-inventories to front-loading picking locations, rebalancing inventory locations for space management, transferring between asset and expense sub-inventories, and also it could be transferring between tracked and non-tracked sub-inventories. So before we go ahead and check on movement request, we could also go and check the sub-inventory transfer as well. So let us go ahead and create a sub-inventory transfer on the instance. So let us click on done. Click on the task panel and click on create sub-inventory transfer. Here under the transaction type, click on sub-inventory transfer, and under the transaction lines, click on place and change select the item AS65001 and select the sub-inventory transfer, the sub-inventory source as say stores, and sub-inventory destination sub-inventory as say inspection, and let us put the quantity as say 3 and click on submit. Your transaction processed with no issues. Click on OK. Now let us check the quantities, manage item quantities, and check for item AS65001. Click on search. You could see here the sub-inventory stores, the quantity is now on-hand quantity is 13, and the sub-inventory inspection, the on-hand quantity is 4. So out of this 13, what is the available quantity to reserve or transact? Earlier it was 10, now it has moved down to 7. So that is how we could create a sub-inventory transfer. So let us go back to the presentation and go towards the next topic, which is on movement request. So remember, this is one of the slide, very important slide which we have discussed earlier. So the transactions without documents and transactions with documents. So we have so far checked the transactions without document, that is miscellaneous issue and sub-inventory transfer. So let us check the ones which require a document, that is the movement request. So let me go to the slide. Sorry for skipping, going quickly through various slides. So the movement request. This diagram is basically showing you the steps that the process of inventory movement request include. That is creating the movement request, running the movement request pick slip report, physically moving the material, and then confirming the pick slips. So movement requests are the request for the movement of material within a single organization. So earlier we have done a sub-inventory transfer where there is no document required. Here we are doing the same, but here we would be having a document. So this diagram depicts the movement request process flow. It includes the creation of the movement request, the pick release, that is wherein we are assigning the picks and printing the movement request pick slip report. And finally, we are doing a pick confirmation that is done after physically picking the material, and then we will be confirming the pick slips. So these are the three different types of movement requests that Oracle Inventory Management provide. That is the requisition movement request, replenishment movement request, and pick wave movement request. So the requisition movement request is manually generated using the manage movement request page. We can generate the request for sub-inventory transfer or movement request issues. Replenishment move order requests are generated automatically for min-max planned items, where the items replenishment source is another sub-inventory. And the pick wave move order process is generates the move orders to bring the material from its source location in stores to a staging location, which you define as a sub-inventory in the inventory management. So this diagram on picking rules and picking rule assignments depict how you could create picking rules that enable you to determine which material to pick and order in which material and the order in which the material is picked for movement request. It could be based on different rules which are based on certain restrictions like lot shelf life days, single lot, partial picking, and you can also sort criteria that determine which material is picked first. That is, it could be based on the lot, it could be based on the revision, it could be based on the sub-inventory or locator. So this is the report name, which is the print movement request pick slip report. So let us go ahead and create a movement request on the instance as part of the demonstration. So let us go ahead and create a movement request. So remember these quantities. It is the sub-inventory stores as quantity of 13. Click on view item availability. It should have 7. So now let us check the quantities. Here it is 13 and 4. Let us go ahead and create. I'm opening a different tab so that I'll keep a track of the quantities. So go to the task, click on manage movement requests. So click on the plus sign and create a new movement request. And remember this movement request number. I made a note of it on the notepad. And click on the transaction type as either a movement request issue or movement request transfer. Let me click on movement request transfer, and I can provide the source sub-inventory and destination sub-inventory here, or I can provide it at a line level as well. So let me check, add the item AS65001, and the requested quantity, say I'm putting it as say 4, and selecting the source sub-inventory as stores and the destination sub-inventory as say inspection. So now let us click on submit. So now I have created a movement request 189792. Click on OK. So this movement request still would not change any quantities so far. So the quantities still remain the same as it is. There is no change in the quantities against each of these sub-inventory stores or sub-inventory inspection, because we have still not have created a pick and we have not created a pick confirmation. So let us go back to that particular tab, click on Done. Now go to the task panel, click on Manage Reservations and Picks, and click on the Create Picks. And in the demand document type, select the demand document type as movement request, and the demand document number is the movement request number which we have just copied. Okay, and click on search. So you'll see the quantity as 4, the demand quantity is 4. So now let us select this particular line and click on pick automatically. So we got the information, your action to automatically pick the demand is completed. Click on OK and click on Generate Pick Slip. Your process, this is the request number 1295595. Click on OK. We will see the pick slip shortly. So click on Save Now. So we have created a pick slip now. Click on Save. So now before we do go ahead and do a quick confirmation of that quantity, let us go ahead and check the scheduled process. Click on Navigator, click on Scheduled Process, click on More and click on Scheduled Process. So here you could see a movement request, the number which the process number which got populated earlier, it's the same 1295595. If you click on this movement pick slip report, and if you scroll down, you should be able to see the pick slip report in the output. Okay, so now you could see here. This is how the pick slip would look like. Movement pick slip would look like. The quantity is 4, and you could see against the movement request number 189792, the item and the source sub-inventory stores, and the destination sub-inventory is inspection, and this is all happening in the organization 001. So within the organization 001, you could see its organization is Oracle Seattle, that is organization 001. Now let us go back to the page here, go to the home page. Click on Inventory Management and let us do a pick confirmation. Click on Task Panel, click on Confirm Pick Slips. And now check for the movement request number which we have copied. Click on Search. So now you could see here the pick slip which we have created. So let us 136511. You could see here in the lines, you could, in case if there are multiple lines, you could select at the header level ready to confirm, and all the lines would get automatically selected, or individually if you want to pick confirm, you could select individual lines here, and then picked quantity, I'll mention it as 4, and click on confirm and close. So and click on done. So if you go back to the manage item quantities, now the quantities should come down and in the sub-inventory stores and increase by 4 in the sub-inventory inspection. So click on search now. Yeah, the quantity has come down by 4 in the sub-inventory stores, and it has gone up by 4 on the sub-inventory inspection sub-inventory. So now let us go back to the presentation and go towards the next topic. It is direct and in-transit inter-organization transfer. So So what is the inter-organization direct shipment? So the direct inter-organization transfer moves the inventory directly from a shipping organization to a destination organization. You would not have to do anything. As soon as you click on submit, what it does is the quantity would go down by the transaction quantity would go down in the source organization, and it would go up by that much quantity in the destination organization. There is nothing to be done after that. If you do an inter-organization direct shipment. If it is inter-organization in-transit shipment, you would have to the quantity would go down in the source organization, but the quantity would not show up in the destination organization because the metal is in transit. So you would have to take a receipt in the destination organization. So you have to change the organization and you have to take a receipt in the destination organization. So this diagram basically depicts the internal material transfer, which includes rule-based execution of transfers, end-to-end visibility, transfer pricing, transfer returns, transfer of consigned, and transfer to expense destinations, etc. So this diagram depicts how internal material transfers are created from requisition lines, and internal material transfer originates in self-service procurement when a user manually creates the requisition lines for items going to either an expense or an inventory destination. So let us go ahead and create an inter-organization transfer. Let me bring up the instance. So here, click on the home page. Let us go to the home page. Click on the setup and maintenance. Go to the task manage interorg transfer. Manage interorg parameters. Okay. Select the functional area inventory management under the offering manufacturing and supply chain materials management. I forgot to change it. Click on search. Search for manage interorganization parameters. Under the functional area inventory management. So now let us check for the organization. We want to move the material from 001 organization to 002 organization, say suppose. So the destination 2 organization is the destination organization. Click on search. In the search results, you could see the from organization is 001 and then the 2 organization is 002 based on the search parameters, and the transfer type is in transit. Okay, so now here, if I click on edit, you could see here the transfer order is required. If it is, if you want to create a transfer order, that is internal material transfer, that flow is covered. This particular flow is covered as part of the internal material transfer, as part of the advanced fulfillment techniques related workshop. In case if you are interested, please enroll for that particular workshop. Now, I'm not doing a document-based interorg transfer. If you go back to that particular slide, very important slide, where you would need the various transaction types which are document, which do not require a document, and the document-based. So this is if you want to move the material from one organization to another organization without any document, then you could use these transaction types. But in case if you need a document, then you need to create a transfer order. So now, right now, I'm not going to create a transfer order. This particular flow is covered in a different workshop. So let us go ahead and create, let's uncheck this transfer order required. Now, in the transfer type, you could see here direct transfer or in transit transfer. If I select a direct transfer, you'd see there is no receipt routing. As soon as you click on submit, the material would go down based on the quantity you provide in the transaction from the source in organization, and it would go up by that much quantity in the destination organization. So here, if I select, say, in transit transfer type, then the receipt routing, I can specify whether we will cover this specifically in the one of the lesson which we'll be covering later, that is on receipts or receiving. So we will talk about that in detail. So click on, say, standard. So if it is a standard receipt routing, then I would need to do a put away transaction as well. So if it is direct, I just need to complete the receipt. I just need to do a receipt transaction in the destination organization. I do not have to do any put away transaction, which we will be covering anyways during the one of the next topics on receiving. So the receipt routing, I'll say standard. So in the click on OK. So now click on save. So now click on save and close, and now let us go ahead and create an inter-org transfer. Okay, so let us go to the home page. Click on the inventory management. Click on the task panel, click on manage item quantities. And here in the organizations, let me delete this organization 001 and select the item AS65001 and check the quantities across organizations. So you could see in the organization 001 there is a quantity of 17, and in the organization 002 the quantity is 20. So you could see in the sub-inventory stores for the organization 002 you have quantity as 20. So entire quantity is available to transact and reserve. So let us, in the organization 001, we have two sub-inventories, that is sub-inventory stores and sub-inventory inspection. If you select the sub-inventory stores and click on view item availability, you could see only 3 are available to transact or reserve. So let us use only these 3 instead of doing a miscellaneous receipt now. Now let us go ahead and create a inventory inter-org transfer. Create inter-org transfer, and here select the destination organization as 002. So here this is the source organization 001, which is just right across the change organization, which is Seattle, and then the type is in transit shipment. Click on generate shipment number. You could see the shipment number is 305863. You could make a note of this shipment number, and now add a transaction line. You could add the line AS65001, and the source sub-inventory is stores, and the destination sub-inventory is also stores. And provide the quantity as say 2 and click on submit. So now if you go back and check the quantities, the quantity would have gone down in the source source organization, but it would have not gone up in the destination organization. Click on manage item quantities. Click on let us select for the item AS65001. Click on search. So the quantity has you could see the quantity has gone down. Available to reserve is only 1. Earlier it was 3. Okay, so now the quantity has gone down. So now let us go ahead and check create a receipt in the destination organization 002. So for that we need to change the organization to 002 here. So let us change the organization to 002. Click on OK. So the page, something happened here. It's all demo instances, so do not worry. Let me close this tab and reopen it again. Click on inventory management. Click on the task panel and click on instead of the task inventory, let us click on receipts. Receive expected shipments. Okay, so click on for the item AS65001 in transit shipment number and click on search. And you could see the quantity 2 which we have just created, and this is the document number 305863 which we have saved. This is the in transit shipment number. So now select this line and click on receive. Now we are doing a receipt. We are receiving the material into the destination organization. Let us provide the received the quantity which we are receiving and click on create receipt. So we are creating a receipt now. So once you do the receiving transaction, we should be able to see the quantity going up in the destination organization as well. So click on submit. But since we have selected the receipt routing as standard, we would have to complete even the put away transaction as well to complete to see that the quantity would go up in the destination organization as well. So click on the inventory as under the show task. If you go to manage item quantities and search for the items in the destination organization AS65001, click on search. You would not see, you would still see 20 quantities. You should still see the 20 quantities in that particular organization. It is still not gone up by 2. So what we need to do, we need to finish the put away transaction as well. So go to the show task. Under that, click on receipts instead of inventory and click on under the receipts, put away receipts. So now select the in-transit shipment number 305863, click on search and select this particular line and click on put away. You could see the demand document number 305863 as well, and click on put away and click on submit. So the put away transaction was created. So now if you go back and check the item quantities, the quantity would have gone up by that much. In the show task, click on inventory and select the task manage item quantities. And if I just delete the organization here, I would be able to see the quantities, item quantities across organization, AS65001, and click on search. So now you could see the quantity has gone up by 2 in the destination organization as well the destination sub-inventory. Earlier it was 20, now it is 22. So if you want to see the completed transactions, so you could see review completed transactions. So, and you should be able to see against the organization 002 for the item AS65001, click on search, and you should be able to see the transaction, the moment the interorganization transfer. So you could see this is the completed transaction. Click on done. And now let us go back to the presentation. So we have just seen the demonstration on how to create interorganization transfer. So there is a practice session on how to create a miscellaneous transaction, how to create and process a movement request, and coming to the summary, in this lesson we have learned how to identify the different inventory transaction types. We have explained the difference between the document-based and non-document-based inventory transactions. We have also seen, and also part of the demonstration, we have seen how to create a miscellaneous transaction, how to create a sub-inventory transfer, how to create and process a movement request, and we also have discussed about the direct and indirect, in-transit interorganization transfer. Thanks everyone for attending this particular session. Thank you.